All right, man, I haven't seen this. This is Blake Griffin reacting to the Clippers parting ways with Chris Paul. The only thing I saw was like a shorts upload where he said he was disappointed, but I'm assuming this is obviously a bit more extensive here.
Early Wednesday morning, with the team sitting on a 5-16 record, Chris Paul posted
Terrible
on Instagram
record.
that he
My
was being
apologies.
sent home from the Clippers road trip. President of basketball operations, Lawrence Frank, confirmed that the team is parting ways with the 12-time All-Star. Frank and Clippers coach Ty Lue addressed the situation. Here is the IG post that Chris Paul.
By the way, if you guys have seen the Ty Lue clip where it's pretty bad.
Put up, but both of those men addressed the situation on Wednesday.
We are not scapegoating Chris Paul. We have many issues, and we're going to address each issue for our underperformance. But I do want to make it clear, we're not blaming him for underperforming.
I mean, I don't think the reason why we're 5-16 because of CP's play. I just think that it wasn't a good fit. Do I want to see CP go out like this? No, I have a lot of respect for him. He's been a friend of mine over the years, and you never want to see a great go out, like this.
NBA contributor Chris Haynes. Chris, this was all pretty unexpected news in what is supposed to be Chris Paul's last season in the league. How did we get here?
Well, the Clippers maintained that there were a series of events and conversations between the front office and Chris Paul over the last few months that ultimately led to his departure. The front office believed they had intel that suggested that Chris Paul was criticizing the coaching staff, front office, and players. And this is something that they felt they've been hearing over the last couple of months. And there was a meeting about a month ago between Lawrence Frank and Chris Paul where Frank addressed this issue again. Chris Paul vehemently denied those accusations, but ultimately Chris Paul elected to apologize to his teammates a few days later if his words or actions were misconstrued. And with that, he asked Lawrence Frank, I was told, to set up a meeting between him and Ty Lue. Those two haven't spoken in weeks. Lawrence Frank said he would get to that. It never happened, and sources said Lue refused to meet with Chris Paul.
Because Ty Lue didn't want no part of it.
It's a really layered situation, clearly. So what's next for CP3?
Well, I reached out to Chris Paul. He hasn't spoke yet, but I did reach out to him and asked him that very question, and he sent me a response back. And in his text message response, he said, I'm just staying ready. I'm hooping right now. I don't know what's next. I'm still scarred by it all. Still processing everything, but I'm staying ready.
Great stuff. Thanks, Chris. We're going to hear more from you
Which
later
means he
during our
wants to still
post-game
hoop
coverage
for his
on
final
this
year.
and another big story, Giannis and the Bucks. See you then. All right, folks, a lot to unpack there. Blake, I'm looking at you. You were
This is what we're here for. For Blake Griffin's reaction, I'm not going to look into nobody else's reaction but Blake Griffin's. Let's see, obviously, former teammates, Lob City Clips,
Chris Paul for 6 seasons in LA. From your knowledge of the
more
situation,
than half a decade,
what do you
6
make of this
seasons.
move?
I'm just disappointed, to be honest. I can't think of really another word. Obviously shocked at first, but disappointed. I'm disappointed for Chris Paul, but I'm disappointed in the Clippers organization.
Right.
I mean, Chris Paul was a guy who came to the Clippers when DeAndre and I were first and second year guys. He brought a winning culture. He taught us how to operate in the NBA and how to take every game seriously, how to take your body seriously, that there was no detail that was too small. And we weren't perfect, right? Like we didn't ultimately win a championship. I know that. I'm reminded of it every day. And CP and I didn't always see eye to eye. But
and that's okay.
I'm disappointed because we got to a franchise that was synonymous with jokes.
With
right?
losing.
You heard the Clippers and you heard cursed.
Yeah.
And again, we didn't win a championship, but we did create a culture, an environment that people respected. You know, every year you knew the Clippers were going to be.
Everybody took the Clippers serious. They were making the playoffs. They were competing. They were at least trying. It was different. It was a level of respect. It's like, okay, that's not a team you're just going to walk over. That's what Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, with Doc Rivers and them boys, that's what they had accomplished. They were at least competing. They were a competitive team.
Competitive. And Chris Paul for 20 years has been the same player. He's been about winning.
Always.
And you know, re-signing with the Clippers, this was supposed to be his moment. His you know, I'm coming back to LA.
Going out.
You know, I'm giving it one last go.
Right.
And for him to not get to walk out on his own terms from the franchise that he chose to go to end his career.
Oh, he did choose that too.
It's extremely disappointing. But
right.
I think the biggest reason I'm disappointed is what Chris said. No communication with Ty Lue. And even more than that.
But that goes back to Ty Lue. Ty Lue didn't want to have that sit down. He was ready to just have CP off the team. Let's be honest about that. If Ty Lue, the head coach, refuses to sit down with the player who is asking, the president of operations to, hey, man, make this happen. We haven't talked in weeks. I guess they were already on bad terms, but he's trying to probably fix it. And the head coach says no. I mean, it's over. That's the ultimate. Basically, Ty Lue was the one that gave him that final, push out the door. That's how I got to view it, because how are you going to deny a player's request to speak with you? You are the head coach. That is quite literally your job. And I get it. He probably views Chris Paul differently because of his age and just where he's at in his career. But definitely this falls back on Ty Lue. And obviously, the president for making the decision. Ultimately, he's the one that needs to do it. But Ty Lue signed off on this and made this happen. No doubt about it. I don't care how anyone spins it. 100%. The moment you deny a sit down with CP3, that's you saying, okay, this is a big issue, and you're kind of forcing the president's hand, GM, whoever, to make that move of like, okay, well, I mean, my head coach is unwilling to talk to a player on the roster. This cannot be a thing. Of course not. So CP3 had to go, but Ty Lue was ultimately the one that made that decision and not speaking to him.
Communication. I talked to CP Wednesday. I talked to him yesterday. I talked to him today. No communication with Steve Ballmer. And that's like the disappointing thing for me.
The owner wasn't involved.
I spoke to Chris about the FaceTime that he posted on Instagram of you, him, and DeAndre. He said in a very complicated day with lots of emotions that really lifted his spirits, having that conversation with all of you. But I have to ask, you, of course, had your own ups and downs with the Clippers organization. Does that shape how you view how they handled this?
Yeah, I mean, our experience has always shaped how we see everything.
Of course.
I always go back to that clip. I think everybody's seen it. I was shooting free throws pregame and running off the court, and Steve Ballmer tries to come up and shake my hand, and there it is again. And that was my pregame routine. I meant nothing by that, and I'll say the same thing right now that I said then. He has my number. It could have been a situation where he just reached out, hey, I want to talk. And it doesn't change what happened. It doesn't change how it happened, but it does give me a certain amount of closure, just because it's like, hey, we had to make decisions, he had to make a decision, and it's all good.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm disappointed that nobody's reached out to Chris because this organization.
I mean, there's nothing to reach out for. They made a decision. That's the thing, though, Blake. Like, that's it. This is conclusive. Like, you know what I mean? Unless he means another team reach out to try to give him a chance on a roster, but no one's gonna reach out to Chris Paul. They made this decision. They knew what they were doing. This is what they wanted. This is the route that they chose.
A lot, and you can build a new arena. You can be at games. You can cheer on the team. You can have all this high energy. But at the end of the day, an organization is built on a foundation of respect.
Right.
And it's built on how you treat.
I love that Udonis Haslem is the one that's there in this set alongside, because he would know better than anyone what winning culture and what a good franchise looks like. Shout out to the Miami Heat. Just want to say that. Just throw this in there because that's my hometown team, and they know how to run things. Man.
And I don't think that in this situation, Chris was treated right. So I'm sort of at a loss for words.
You can tell he's legit disappointed in this.
I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there are two sides to every story. And
sure, I'm sure there's more, but it don't matter. It don't change the fact of what is. Anyways, give me your thoughts and opinions on this. This is obviously dragged on now for a couple of days, as it should, because Chris Paul obviously deserves some level of respect here. But just the fact that you already know he was trying to have a sit down with the coach, possibly to just get everything situated, and the head coach said, nah, it's not happening. That lets you know everything you need to know, in my opinion.